What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another video, another day, another life. Basically trying to get back to where we were before and just going with this ER to PR series. Just taking things in stride and just really kind of reflecting on everything that kind of happened before. So at least we can go and train, and it's just kind of like a learning moment from the point it happened to being able to kind of accept it and train around it. So it was inevitable that I wouldn't sit still and I would allow this stuff to happen, but it is what it is. So this is a little bit after Thanksgiving, or I think the weekend of Thanksgiving. Trained with my friend here from out of town. Him and I, we usually used to have a yearly tradition where we do some strongman stuff, so clearly it didn't happen on this day. But essentially, he wanted to jump in with the workout that I was doing, and I said, you can do whatever you want, but I've got to stick to what I'm doing because it's all I can do. So we had a great overall workout. Really showed him, the new workout stuff that I'm doing. He's never used an SSB before or the belt squat coming up. So I just kind of really showed him, it could be beneficial for somebody. He was having issues with some balance and stuff too when it comes to the traditional barbell back squat. And I said, hey, if you've got this bar at your gym, which he does when I went to go visit, I said, try this out. It may be something beneficial for you. You can still get the squat work in while you kind of work on the things that you need. And he really liked the workout and basically just did the same weights that I did. And this workout was important because it was the first time I went sort of heavy-ish. 295 here, which I don't normally do for reps on the SSB, even with the kilos. This was always treated as like a secondary movement. So like triples, doubles, stuff like that. Nothing too high rep, but I decided to do a 5x5 of this. So that's what I did. I wanted to get the work in. It was flowing well, and he kept up with me every step of the way. So kudos to him. And, he went home and started using the SSB. The next training session, he was able to use it. So glad I could help somebody out. I'm glad that there's tools that exist to help you train around certain, situations that may come, certain inebriations or whatever that may prevent you from training the way that you want to train. And there's been such an innovation with lifting equipment and what's available now, especially commercially to like the average person. You can really buy something to kind of work around almost everything. If we didn't have the SSB and the bell squat, I'd be severely limited with what I could do. You could set up like some sort of like Hatfield or something in this gym with the SSB if you wanted to kind of get the same thing out of the belt squat, but I like having the variety, treating them as a different movement, and really just kind of using it in whichever way that I want. You don't always have to train the same way, different rep ranges, stuff like that, work on different stuff. So another thing here is he actually pushed me on the belt squat today, though. I was kind of lowballing stuff, and then we just kept throwing weight on, so it was fine. So we crossed into some pretty decent, belt squat territory, and I will work on getting back up there and surpassing that in the subsequent videos to follow. But it was nice to kind of break that barrier. When you're injured, there's just something in your head where you really don't want to push anything. Any sort of discomfort that you're not too familiar with is a little bit scary, especially once the accidents happen. Your hindsight's 2020. You're really like looking out for any sort of thing that could lead to something difficult, and you're kind of avoiding all that. So it was nice to push it a little bit, realize I could do a little bit more, and then kind of go from there. So we just kind of alternated back and forth with the same belt. I like this Rogue one. It's a little bit more comfortable than the one hanging over there. It's got too much of like a drip to it, so just kind of hangs around. The Rogue definitely will contour to your body more. I think it's just the belt size. The other one is clearly bigger. It's meant for people that have, thicker waist or something like that. So the Rogue one here, you've got a couple different ones where you can put some different belt loops in and get different leverages and tightness. So that's pretty cool. And, just kind of really manipulating this to however I need it. You can see here I mentioned before about the different holes. So we were using the second hole. So obviously not, super, super duper heavy, but enough to get some stimulus. And I didn't want to overwork him since this is the first time he's done it. I tend to find anytime I do a new movement, when you're training it, it feels awesome. I feel like you could go forever, but when that soreness sets in because you're not used to that movement, you're not used to being in that position, it hits you hard. It's almost, it's become a bad term, muscle confusion, which is so true. it's mainly just adaptation to a new movement. Like that's what happens whenever you change anything up, something so drastic and different. If you train in certain rep ranges and certain groups, you know, they're used to being stimulated, but if you change that stimulation, whether it's like an incline, whether it's a decline, stuff like that, if you haven't been there, there's going to be a period where you're going to have to adapt. So just kind of flowed with it today and did some experimentation and really enjoyed the workout. This was earlier in the day, so, you know, getting our workout out of the way so that then we could go do other stuff. And, you know, just had a good time here. I actually used the very back of the belt squat connection, and you can kind of see with 5 plates, just kind of moving it is kind of crazy. But, you know, some different training mechanisms for different days. Did the usual hamstring curl, and, you know, you're going to see a lot of these same weights just because these weeks I was still trying to figure out what my recovery was going to look like. I just wanted to be consistent and be able to just get the movements in. And then now we can start really progressing weight. I just kind of wanted to see 3 days a week of leg training. Could my body handle it? Am I going to get any sort of tendinitis or whatever, or deal with anything like that? So leg extensions here. Pretty much the same things you've seen before in other workouts. We did some calf stuff after the fact, so nothing too crazy. More workouts to come. Hopefully we heal up soon so they get more interesting. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow the journey. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.